Hello, my fellow gamers and horror film fans. Welcome back into the Chrono Cabin. And welcome to the Weekend Watch and Play edition. That's right, everyone. It is the weekend, and this is where I love to talk to you about all the horror content I will be watching and all the video games I will be playing over the weekend. Now, as always, we'll start with the horror content, and then we will finish up with the video games. Before I start, though, I gotta say, wow. I mean, this summer's blasting along here pretty fast. I mean, it's almost August. Now, if you've been watching my channel since last year, you will know that here at the Chrono Cabin, I start the Halloween season as of September 1st. So as of September 1st, I will light that Halloween candle and keep that Halloween candle lit all the way to the end of Halloween. I am very much looking forward to Halloween season. It is my favorite time of year, and I'm looking forward to it cooling down a bit. I mean, shit, it's pretty hot. So for this weekend, I've actually picked two international horror movies that I am rather excited to see, and they look pretty interesting, so let's get into it. The first movie is Moloch. Moloch tells the story of Beatrix, who lives a quiet life with her family at the edge of a peat bog. When they are attacked by a random stranger one night, Beatrix sets out to find an explanation. The deeper she digs, the more she becomes convinced something ancient is after them and her loved ones. That's right, this is a Shudder original that literally just dropped on Shudder, and I have been looking forward to this movie for a long time. By the way, I did not know what a peat bog was until I just looked it up, and apparently it's one of the 4 classifications of wetlands, and it is not really common here in the United States. It's more common in Europe, say England, Scotland, and it's kind of what it sounds like. It's a bog that grows peat, and it often appears very mossy, so it's kind of green and very deep and can be sometimes very dark, which I think is actually great for a horror movie setting because, yeah, you can make a peat bog look quite eerie. Now, this is a film out of the Netherlands, and it is directed by Nico van den Brink. I'm sorry if that is not how you pronounce Nico's name. I probably butchered it. But this is actually his directorial debut for a full-length feature horror movie. He has done some directing before, but it's mostly shorts, so this is his first full-length feature film, and hopefully this will be a start to a long career for him. By the production value from the trailer, I think this movie looks great, and I've actually said this before, but I really like Shudder originals. I mean, I would say 90% of the Shudder originals I think are quite good. I think they do an excellent job. Shudder's doing a great job when it comes to making their own content. This movie seems kind of cool. It's right up my alley. It's got a very supernatural vibe to it. It does look rather creepy, and from what I gather, it does seem to have a bit of a fairy tale folklore element to it. As I've said on this channel a lot of horror movies are based on old fairy tales, old folklore. And fairy tales have often been used to scare children, essentially. Parents would tell their children these scary fairy tales in order for the kids to behave, because in fairy tales, a lot of times if a kid is bad, well, then some kind of monster or some kind of beast will come and take them away. So fairy tales are as old as time, and we do get a lot of horror movies that are based on similar stories to these old fairy tales. So I will be interested to see if there's just some kind of fairy tale that does come out of the Netherlands. I always like it when movies incorporate folklore from other countries, because I always find it interesting. There's a lot of different cultures out there, a lot of different fairy tales, a lot of different folklore. It does have a very atmospheric look to it. Looks like this is probably going to be a little psychological. This movie is largely about a curse that follows a family bloodline, and that's nothing new in horror movies. Obviously, we've seen this type of plot done many times, but I'm interested to see if this movie will have some kind of interesting take on that. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've been wanting to see it for a long time, so I will be checking that out this weekend. Now, this next movie is kind of special for the mere reason that this is actually a recommendation from a new subscriber that I have. Daniel, I hope you don't mind me giving you a shout out, but thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for leaving that kind message, and most importantly, thank you for the movie recommendations. Now, Daniel recommended me 2 movies, but this is the one I'm going to be watching this weekend, and this one is The Innocents from 2021. Now, be careful with this one. There's a couple Innocents movies out there. There's one from 2016. There's one that goes all the way back to 1961. This one, unfortunately, you do have to rent. I don't see it streaming anywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and rent it. You can rent it on Amazon Prime for $7, or you can rent it from Apple TV Plus for $7. So $7, not bad. I usually try to keep it to movies that you can stream and not have to rent. But in this case, $7, sometimes it's nice to treat yourself. And the movie does look good. 9-year-old Ida moves to a suburb of Oslo with her family. There, she forges new friendships with children on her estate who seem to possess supernatural powers. But what happens when those children start using their powers for malicious ends? Well, I guess we'll find out because I'm going to watch it. Now, when I initially saw the trailer, I kind of thought maybe, a little bit of Children of the Corn meets Freaks. And I actually talked about Freaks. Freaks is a great sci-fi movie, and I talked about it in my summer horror sci-fi movie special. You can check that video out here. Check it out. I got a lot of good summertime horror movies that I think you might enjoy. And it actually looks like this movie was filmed in the summertime. So unfortunately, I'm watching it a little later, because if I did like it, I probably would have put that in the list. But hey, we'll make a new list at some point. Now, one thing I like about this movie, it is actually set in Norway. And I think Norway is absolutely beautiful. Any film set in Norway, you're just gonna have a beautiful backdrop. And you combine that with a horror movie, I think you got the best of all worlds. This movie is labeled as a horror drama, and judging by the trailer, it does look pretty creepy. They did a good job with the trailer on this, and the production value looks fantastic. It looks like a beautiful movie to watch. Also, it seems to have won a couple of festivals. On Amazon, they actually label this as a horror, suspense, supernatural fantasy film. So I think you got a lot of great elements in there. So again, thank you for that recommendation. I'm excited to watch this one this weekend. Now, Daniel did recommend another movie to me, and I'm having a little bit of trouble finding it. So once I find it, I will definitely give that one a watch too, and I'll probably talk about it in a later episode. In fact, when I've been doing these weekend watch and plays, I always tell you about the movies that I'm watching, with the exception of the one that I did on Triangle, where I'd already watched it and recommended that for everyone. And I do recommend you watch Triangle, great movie. But I think what I'm going to do is, after a certain amount of these episodes of the weekend watch and play, I'm probably going to do a best of. So one best of horror movies and one best of video games. I'll keep them separate. But I want to go back and just kind of pick my favorites out of all of my weekend watch and plays for a certain amount of episodes. So I think that'll be fun coming up. Now let's get on to the gaming. Yep, I am all about Horizon Forbidden West at this point. It is such a fantastic game, I gotta say. Now, if you enjoyed Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm sure you're already playing Horizon Forbidden West. There's so much stuff on this all over the internet that I don't even think I need to talk about it here. But definitely, if you like Zero Dawn, I have no idea why you wouldn't like Forbidden West. I think it's a magnificent game. I mean, it's larger in scope, which I think is great. Now, I'm not gonna give you any spoilers, so don't worry. I'm just gonna tell you what I like about the game, but it's spoiler free. And one of the things I liked is the addition of 2 new mechanics in the game. One is the gliding mechanic, which is great. I love just climbing to the top of a mountain and just gliding down. You get that ability pretty early on in the game. My other favorite addition is the polecaster. You can pull apart rocks, and you can actually pull trees down, things like that, kind of to help you navigate the terrain. And I think it's a great addition. It just really adds to that element of exploration. So having a lot of fun with that. Now, I was that person that never played Zero Dawn back in the day, back in 2016, I think, whenever it came out. I actually just played Zero Dawn about 4 months ago. So this is a great way to do it, in my opinion. I played it 4 months ago, and now I kind of jumped into Forbidden West when the story from Zero Dawn is really fresh in my head. And I think that's a great way to do it. So if you've never played Zero Dawn or Forbidden West, if you've never played any of the Horizon games, I definitely recommend you start with Zero Dawn, because the story is really great. And Forbidden West just kind of builds on that story, and it really keeps building on the mysteries of the past. And it's just such a fantastic journey, I think. I will tell you, I don't think I've enjoyed a story this much since the Mass Effect trilogy. Now, if you ask me, what is your favorite story in a video game or in a video game series, I will say it's the Mass Effect trilogy. I really just thought that was a brilliant story. I mean, it was like just a great book almost, or a great movie. I mean, it's just really fantastic the way they kept you guessing and wondering what was going on, and you kind of get these clues as you keep going. I honestly love that whole story arc. I mean, the writing was fantastic, and I honestly think the writing in this game is equal to that of the Mass Effect trilogy. Now they're different games, so you know, it's just I'm enjoying the story. That's my point. I'm really enjoying the story. Much like The Last of Us, that's one of my top stories in a video game too. This one is at the top for me at this point, and I really just like learning more about the past and trying to figure out how to save the future. It's just a really great game. It looks great on my 4K TV, which is not a great TV. I have a Vizio, which doesn't really have a lot of bells and whistles. I mean, it's a good enough picture for me. It doesn't have VRR support, unfortunately. I bought it back when VRR was just coming in. I didn't pay a lot of money for my TV, but I will tell you, this game on the PS5, even on my 4K Vizio, which is okay, looks fantastic. So it's a great game. So if you have a really good TV that has VRR support, you're in luck, because this game's going to look even better. Now, the last game I want to talk about is Too Dark. Yeah, this is a little gem that I just came across through my PS Plus Premium membership. Now, this is actually a cross-platform game, but if you have PS Plus Extra or you have PS Plus Premium, you can play this game for free. It is about a detective who goes camping with his wife and daughter, and on this camping trip, the wife and daughter mysteriously vanish. Now, the detective finds his wife, and she is dead. But there's no sign of the detective's daughter. That all happens in the opening of the game, and then the real game actually begins a number of years later, and you see this detective still trying to find his missing daughter, as well as a lot of other missing children. It's actually kind of a dark story. The language is really colorful. I mean, there's a lot of swearing in this game. It's great though, I love it. It's got a very cool, old school, retro, pixel style art to it, but yet it seems modern in some ways. Overall, it's kind of dark and creepy. I feel like I should be playing this around Halloween. I mean, it's really a action stealth type game, although there is a little bit of action. There is actually a shooting mechanic in the game, although the shooting mechanic's a little rough. I don't know, maybe it gets easier as you go, but honestly, that's my only pet peeve with the game. I really don't have any other complaints about it. I've actually just started this game, so I'm pretty new into it, so I'll be continuing to play it this weekend, but I highly recommend you check it out if you have PS Plus Extra or PS Plus Premium, because it's a free game and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. And that about does it for this episode of Weekend Watch and Play. I hope all of you have a very good weekend out there. I hope you're going to be watching some fun stuff. I hope you're going to be playing some cool video games. I hope you're going to be getting out there and enjoying the summer, trying to stay cool at least. I know it's pretty tough, but maybe head to the beach if you can. Anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe, and I appreciate all the new subscribers that I've gotten. And you can also ring that bell for future notification whenever I release new content. As always, everyone, keep watching those horror movies, keep playing those video games, and I will see you soon.